welcome to Church Online. I'm CG.
I'm Chris.
And we're really excited that you've joined us online today. If it's your first time watching, be sure to comment first time in the chat. Our team would love to say hi to you. And if you're just watching like normal, you should invite one of your friends to join you.
Tag them on Facebook.
Yeah, tag them on Facebook or just send them the link in a text or something.
Perfect.
Chris, I wanted to let you know that it's PSL season.
I have no idea what you're talking
Pumpkin spice lattes.
Do I look like someone who drinks pumpkin spice lattes?
I think you need to try it.
Okay, yeah, PSL season. I think I get it. I get it.
It's a little early. I mean, it's still August, but I mean,
not
I'm a
sponsored.
fan. Yeah,
not sponsored. You can get it anywhere, I think.
Oh yeah, any coffee shop has pumpkin spice lattes. You should try it.
This is incredible.
It is a little early for pumpkin, but you know, it's pretty good.
Fall is here. Okay, wow, well, that was a little bit off topic. Doesn't have anything to do with storytellers, but hey, you know what does have to do with storytellers? Our Facebook community page group. So if you want to stay connected, Micah and Haley, they kind of host that page. They post pictures, and a lot of times they have these videos of just what's going on in their life. It's super cool, and then people comment with what they're doing. So we're gonna show you a little preview of what you can expect if you join that page. Check it out.
All right, y'all. I just want you to know that today is a very special day in my life and the entire year. Today, if you didn't know, it's fall, y'all. Yeah, I said it. And I know maybe it's 90 degrees outside and you probably spent some time outside and you're sweating, but what you don't realize, and maybe you do, is that today Starbucks drops their fall lineup. And for me, you know what that means? Pumpkin spice lattes. Yeah, I'm super basic and it makes me so happy. So, for me, that means a pumpkin spice latte, frappuccino, almond milk with the whipped cream, all the nutmeg, the goodness. And for Haley, that means a white chocolate salted caramel mocha over ice. And really, there's nothing better. I don't even care what time of year it is. I would drink it year round. So join us as we partake in the first pumpkin spice latte of the year. Let's go.
I love that Facebook page. It's such a great way that we can stay connected even though we're apart. And the stuff that Haley and Micah are posting there is so funny.
It's so great. Yeah. I love every video. Is just so good.
We've
Check it out,
even gotten to see some photos of your families and just getting to know you guys a little better and sharing some of your stories.
Yeah, it's so great.
And speaking of stories, we have a really cool online event coming up. We have invited professional storytelling coach Katie Casada to come and share how to share your story with other people.
She is so good. I just saw like a preview and I got to talk to her for a little bit and I was so impressed. You're not going to want to miss it. It's Tuesday,
September 1st on Facebook and YouTube streaming live. So make sure you mark your calendars for that because she's awesome.
And we might be doing a giveaway.
Ooh,
yes.
A giveaway.
So tune in for that too because you might win some cool prizes. So. Thank you for joining this weekend for worship. Now here is the last week 4 of Storytellers. Wow, it's a lot.
I thought you didn't like pumpkin spice.
You know what? I've come around. It's really good.
Your love so great, Jesus, in all things. I've seen a glimpse of your heart, a billion years. Still I'll be singing. How can I praise you enough? How can I praise you enough? You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. Creation calls all to the Savior. We are alive for your praise in earth and sky. No one is higher. Our God of wonders who reigns. to your name we lift up all praise. Not to us, but to your name we lift up all praise. Not to us, but to your name we lift up all praise. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. Sing that once more. You are the Lord Almighty, outshining all the stars in glory. Your love is like the wildest ocean. Oh, nothing else compares. I saw Satan fall like lightning. I saw darkness run for cover. But the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. I believe in signs and wonders. I have resurrection power. Yes, I do. Still the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. Oh, my praise belongs to you forever. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Come together, sons and daughters, bought with blood and washed in water. Sing the praises of the Spirit, Son, and Father. Our God will finish what He started. Yes, our God will finish what He started. Oh, this is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Yeah. If I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, you're not done. You're not done. Greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, you're not done. No, greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. Oh, I'm alive. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Yeah.
It's so good to have you with us today at Church Online. One of my favorite things about doing church this way is the flexibility that it provides. At my house, we watch together in the living room with the service streaming right on the TV. And if we're honest for a moment, we're each holding a cell phone in our hands as well as we text and check out social media, and of course, as we follow along with Pastor Jim in the Bible app. Beginning next weekend, the flexibility increases just a little bit more. The service will be available for you to engage with beginning every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. That means it's on demand on YouTube every weekend beginning at 5:30 on Saturday night for you to catch anytime you would like. Late Saturday, early Sunday, it's up to you. And of course, we'll stream live across all platforms at 9 and 10:30 every Sunday, where our team will be available to chat with you, to pray with you, to answer any questions that you might have. Well, as much as I hate it, summer is quickly drawing to a close, and the usual excitement about back to school has been replaced with so many questions and so many unknowns. That's why we're being even more intentional than ever to impact the lives of families at the Summit. We're a couple weeks into Zoom Bible studies that were designed for parents and teachers. This week, we hosted a fun event for families of students called Fast Food Relay. It's exactly what it sounded like. Families competed to earn points while visiting locations all around the city, and they had a blast while they were doing it. And then on Saturday, our kids team hosted a drive-through event to provide kids with a back-to-school box. Inside's a family devotional, some helpful information for mom and dad, as well as some really cool Summit Kids swag to start the school year off right. Now more than ever is a time to be for the families in our church. When you support the work of the Summit, you're helping us make an impact in the lives of families to create environments where even in a time of uncertainty, that parents and kids are loved, valued, and given opportunities to follow Jesus and to find life. If you'd like to partner with us, you can do so at reachingthesummit.com/give or on our app. It's been so good to chat with you today. Now here's Pastor Jim with part 4 of our series, Storytellers.
It was the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. And it was the semifinal 400-meter race, men's. And a gentleman by the name of Derek Redmond was expected to win the semifinal heat. He held the record in Great Britain. Now, he had undergone several surgeries for hamstring problems. And so his condition was a little fragile. They were at the starting blocks, and you look at the runners, and they are just rippling with muscle intensity and passion. And then the gun fires, and they're off, and Redmond is making a great go of it. It is intense. They're calling out the competitors. You can feel the excitement, the energy, the passion. Suddenly, Derek Redmond pulls up in pain. You can feel the pain. And the empathy wells up within. And it's not just the pain of the hamstring torn again. It's the pain of all the years of preparation and anticipation, all the passion poured into the pursuit, and the denial, the disappointment, even the measure of despair. But he's a Brit. And Brits don't just give up. He rose to the occasion, and he was intent on finishing the race, on crossing the finish line. And then comes the best part of the story, captured so vividly on video. Because there's a guy a middle-aged guy, overweight, out of shape, who takes the track. And he pushes away the security, and he runs up, and you don't know who he is. And then he reaches out, and he grabs Derek, as only a father could, as only a father would. Oh, and there's so much love and support and care that's communicated wordlessly. And Derek starts to weep. And his father shakes off those who would usher him off the track, and literally carries his boy in his arms. And together they cross the finish line to a standing ovation from the Olympic crowds. One of my favorite moments in Olympic history. And let me tell you why. 2 reasons. I really believe that God is our Heavenly Father and always finds us when we are most broken, when we are hurting, when our dreams are shattered, when we feel like life is a great disappointment. God's the one who comes and finds us. And then looking at Jim Redmond, that's Derek's dad, that's his name, looking at Jim rushing the track, holding his son, walking him across the finish line. I want to be that guy. I want to be the one who helps those who are hurting, those who are broken, those who are suffering. What about you? Because perhaps no other time in history has the world needed people like Jim Redmond as right now. Jesus told stories. That's what this whole series is about. We started with God's story, and then we spent 2 weeks talking about our story and how the two intersect. And I want to wrap it up and bring it home. And I want to tell you one of the most powerful stories that Jesus recounted. It's right here. It's in Matthew 25. And it's the parable of the Last Judgment, and it's so much more than that. This is what Jesus said. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he'll sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be assembled before him, and he will separate people one from another, like a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked. You gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." And then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And Jesus said this, "And the king will answer them, I tell you the truth, just as you did it for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me." Now, Monday night in the Bible study, I'm going to come back to this text and delve in deeply in the class from 7 until 7:30. But really what I want to underscore for you in this text is that when we live our lives aware and caring, living and loving for others, we see the very face of God in Jesus Christ. And the beauty of this whole story is people serve unaware, and that's the best way to serve and sacrifice, especially in these crazy times. As I've said before, we're enduring a pandemic, an economic meltdown, social unrest, political chaos. And what the world longs for is people who are willing to serve and sacrifice and share love in such a way that Christ is revealed. How do we do that? 3 simple ways. And I'll ask Jake to put them on the screen for you. First of all, it's the commitment to be present. To be present. You, to be present in the world. I know. In these chaotic times, it's so easy to run for cover and to hide and shelter. and just want to kind of bury yourself in Netflix or books or binge eating or whatever it is, and kind of try to ignore the world. And I've got to tell you, it doesn't work, and it endangers us. And what's worse is we see all that needs to be done, and since we're one and can't do it all, we consign ourselves to doing nothing. And we rationalize it. We justify it. We want to be fair. And we can't help everyone, so then we rationalize not helping anyone. And that's deadly, dangerous to the soul. Because what it does is it alienates us from the world of need. And when we become indifferent to the world of need, our very soul is put in jeopardy. We've got to be present. And even though we can't help everyone, we can help someone. And the fact that we can't help everyone should never be an excuse for not helping someone. We talk about fairness. And fairness is crucial with your children and your grandchildren. My parents and grandparents taught us that we were always treated alike, to the extent that at Christmas, if there was any slight difference between what was spent on one and the other's child, the difference was always in the Christmas card. It could have been $1.98. It didn't matter what it was. We were all treated fairly, and we tried to treat our kids the same way. And I think we may have been successful, because both of our kids are convinced the other was the favorite. So I think we got close. That works for family, but in the world, do for one what you cannot do for all. Find someone that you can make a difference for, and be present. Be real to them. Care for them in such a way that you are not only present, but real. Real and compassionate. That's the second point. And what you need to know is people really don't care what you know until they know for certain that you care. And that's what unlocks their heart and their receptivity. And in the midst of this ongoing, unfolding tragedy called the COVID-19 virus, we're seeing our numbers escalate in Jackson County. We're seeing people suffering. I'm on the phone talking to people whose parents are dying, whose children or grandchildren are sick. It breaks my heart. And this is the time to be present and to be real to those who are suffering. I still remember I did a funeral for a guy who was younger than I am. And it's, I really loved the guy. He was just one of those people I could always laugh with, tell stories with, and enjoy. And I did his funeral. And in the midst of the homily, when I'm talking and celebrating his life, I start to cry. Now, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I really do. I grew up in the generation where my mother said to me, "Big boys don't cry." Sound familiar to any of you guys? And I know that's wrong, but that's how I was raised, and it's ingrained. And I'm always embarrassed when I start crying. After the funeral, I apologized to the widow, to this man's bride. And I said, "I'm so sorry." I got all choked up. And she looked at me with tears in her eyes and opened her arms and embraced me and said, "Oh no, Jim. When you started to cry, I finally realized how much you care." Show the world that you care. Be present and be real. Do something for someone, even when you can't do anything for everyone. Make a difference. Find someone that you can influence. Tell them your story, not just with what you say, with what you do. And when you do so, you'll be doing it for Christ. It was so cool because in the Bible study this last Monday, a question was asked about should we really care about the world? And some churches really teach a very personal piety that says all that matters is your relationship with Christ, and the world can go to hell. That's kind of the attitude, the isolationist attitude that some churches, some theologians, some preachers teach. And I think it's wrong. I think it's dead wrong. Because when you really love the Lord, you realize that you must love and care for those He loves. If you want to bless someone, bless their children. The things that people have done for my kids through the years, that has so touched my heart because they did it out of love for me. And they were a blessing to my son and my daughter. And they touched my heart deeply. Same is true for God. The best way you can show your love for God is to dare to share it and show it to someone else, one of God's beloved children. And when you do, I believe with all my heart that what Jesus said is true. You catch a glimpse of Christ. There's a bishop in the church called Martin of Tours. He was born early in the 300s, died 393, late 300s, and he was a bishop in the church. His history is fascinating because prior to being a pastor, a bishop, a leader in the Christian church, he was a Roman soldier. He was part of the Roman legion. He was entering into a town, and there was a beggar. And the beggar was blue with cold, and Martin had nothing to give. But he saw the need, felt the compassion, and chose to be present and to be real. And in so doing, he was compassionate to a beloved child of God. And he took his own heavy Roman cloak. And it was one of the things that Roman soldiers always carried. And he tore it. He tore it in half, and he wrapped it around the shoulders of the beggar. That night, he had a dream, a beautiful dream, and he saw Jesus Christ on his throne, surrounded by the glory of the angels. And he looked closely, and Jesus Christ, the Son of God, was wearing an old, dirty, torn cloak. And one of the angels asked the Lord why. And in Martin's dream, Jesus said, "This is the cloak given to me by my child, Martin." Oh, I love that story. Which takes me back to Jim Redmond. Because the story really isn't so much about his son, it's about the Father. I believe God comes to you in your time of pain, sorrow, and suffering, and he walks with you to life. And more than that, I believe that God intends us to be the Redmonds of the world who go to people in their broken, hurting places and offer them love, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the sick and the imprisoned, and doing it for Christ and for those he loves. Will you pray with me, please? Lord, thank you for the wonderful stories that Jesus told, for he intends them to be about us. And when he separated the sheep from the goat, clearly, Lord, he intends all of his beloved children to be the sheep who share their love with the very ones he loves so deeply and dearly. Lord, as a church, help us to be for the community, for the world, for you, Christ, so that the world may be a different place because your story has shaped ours, and our story has helped change the world in your name. In Christ we pray. Amen. Hey, before I let you go, I want to remind you that on Sunday, September 6th, we're having drive-through communion. That's next weekend if you're watching, depending on when you're watching, but come and join us. It's all the details are on the website. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be looking for you because I miss you terribly. I love you dearly, and I pray for you daily. Please keep me in your prayers. God's richest blessings to you as you share those blessings with the world.